So this is my own implementation of RPE based training load calculator. All the stuff we talked about before, training load, calculating monotony, and then calculating the weekly strain, can be done in a spreadsheet form, which is nice. So here's my implementation. So I typically give this to an athlete, and for example, if there's an athlete training for cycling, they get this worksheet and they can then self rate their workout as the workout is done. So this is a table consisting of the day of the week, and each column has specific information. So if it's like biking or a brick workout or a run workout, whatever it is, you select it. Then you rate it as per this chart, and again, a coach would describe how this is to be used before anyone starts using this. So just be mindful of that. The, the duration in minutes, and then the load is automatically calculated actually um, from those two pieces of information, and you get the training load. So if there are many activities done in a day, which is typical for triathletes, for example, then um, you have to summate all the training loads from all the activities. Now, this is a crude way to do it, but you can actually make a finer resolution if you need it. If you know, for example, the stress associated with running is probably different from what it is for swimming. Um, so you could design that with the finer resolution. So RPE could describe something like shock in running, or maybe sh- um, you know feeling of heaviness, or maybe shoulder pain or back pain or something in swimming. But that's up to you. I have not done it in such a fine scale. Finally, the so this is so this is already done by the athlete. So for the week, the athlete already filled it out, and what you see here in yellow is the weekly training load, which is the complete sum of the total of all the training loads for that week. You calculate weekly monotony by taking the standard deviation of the loading from the days. So take that standard deviation and also take the average of the weekly load. So the average daily training load was about 212, and the standard deviation was about 168. So your monotony is nothing but the ratio of the two, and you get 1.26. Higher the monotony, the more each day um, is similar to the previous day. Yeah, there is lesser variation, and so you wanna stay away from too many weeks with too much monotony, because that could increase the chance of overreaching. And then your weekly stress is nothing but the product of monotony and training load. So I've done this for many, many weeks. Actually, not me, but the athlete. They've reported it. And I then get back the data from each athlete at the end of the week. And then they do it for the next week, and I get it back for at the end of next week, and so on. And finally, we take a complete block, a mesocycle of maybe 9 weeks in this example, and we can um, record the variation. So here's a uh, there's about, I think, 6 weeks worth of data, and I've charted the progression from week to week in terms of weekly total training load, monotony, and the stress. And you can see that some weeks have been quite stressful, um, but the loads have been sort of small, um, but the stresses have been higher. So it gives me a feel for how things went and what needs to change in the weeks to come for that athlete. And this is a nice, I guess, simple way to incorporate this RPE based tool among athletes for a certain sport. The only thing I would say here is the compliance required from the athlete to fill this form out. So they have to be reminded that, look, did you rate it? Did you rate it? Athletes who take their business very seriously should, would do that without being reminded, and they would give feedback to the coach. But what I like about this is the feedback part. There is a very I want to say a very active process of feedback between coach and athlete in this way, rather than just simple WhatsApp conversations of, oh, how did it go? Oh, okay, okay, that's good. And that's not really nice. You can't quantify that. Whereas here, the athlete has to take a step to rate data and then, give back data, and then the coach has to take a step to look at that data and provide his feedback. So there's very good communication happening, and I like that. So you could make this for yourself as well, and it doesn't have to be so complicated. But this is just an example of how I do it.